Yeah, good morning and welcome back once again. In today's class, we'll be looking into practicals of what we have done so far, as we are already winding up the classes, and we'll be looking forward into project phase, which is going to start in less than 2 weeks. So, in this class, we'll be building this, and we'll be focusing more on the CSS side of things and also the animation. You can see that there's a sort of animation there, and also the color blending. We'll be focusing more on that. And coming into the class, I've written the HTML in itself, so we just have our pure HTML written out already. And what we'll focus more on is we'll be focusing more on the CSS side of things, which is what we'll be working with. So I have written all our HTML right here. And the first thing I want to do is I would want to pick up our font. So we'll have to go to Google Font. So I'll be using Inter. I'll be using Inter for this. So I'm going to get the font. So I'm just going to use embed the code. So copying this and pasting it at the topmost part of our CSS. So yeah, and with that, we would have a normal global reset. Sorry, please, can you all hear me? So I don't think I'm communicating and you guys are not hearing me. Please kindly confirm you can hear me, please. Okay, all right. Okay, so let me just continue. Just a second, please. Yeah, so let's go ahead. So I'm going to be having also a global reset. So sure. Yeah, let's continue. We have margin. A margin of 0. Padding of 0. Box sizing, which is going to be border box. Yeah, so let's save that and see. Yeah, so our CSS is properly connected. So let's just define our body. Body is going to be font family. Sorry, font family, which is going to be Inter. And we'll have a fallback of sans serif, just in case Inter is not available. So we have a background color of linear gradient. Linear dash gradient. Linear gradient is going to be 135 DG, comma, hash 667EEA, that's 0%. We have hash 764BA2, which is 100%. So let me close this sidebar so I don't have to start extending my screen. Let me just break it down so it breaks properly. So we have a color of white. So official text color is going to be white. And we have an overflow text hidden. So I'm using this to hide any overflow that is probably going to come up along the way. So we have line height of 1.6. So I think we are done with the body. So yeah, this because we made our color here white, that's why we can't really see our text. But if I comment this out to see our text once again, and we making use of Inter font made it look like this. So but we just continue. So I'm going to start with the animation, that's particles. So there's a class in our HTML here called particles. this is it, this class, which is for animation. That's what you're styling first. So let me have a comment here. Animate background animation of background. Why am I trying to comment and it's not working? So okay, I was doing it the wrong way. Animation for background. So we have those particles, and it's going to be, am I getting the spelling correctly? I don't think so. Control C and Control V. So let's continue. We have position of fixed. We have top of 0. We have left. Of 0. Yeah. I'm actually used to someone, thank you. I'm actually used to JavaScript comments. That's why I had to do that with, but I corrected myself. Width of 100%. I have a height of 100%. I also have a pointer event of none. So this is me changing. I can actually change that to a z-index of 1. And my z-index is to push it above. It should be on top of everything that we have. So this, we might not probably see it. So, but let's just continue. Let me comment this white out so we can see everything that we have. So our screen is not just blank. So we have particles also. Let me just duplicate this. I'm going to do some styling right here. Sorry, is it thin or should I zoom in? Yeah, Fernandez, thank you for bringing that to my notice. Is it quite thin or I should zoom in? I don't know. My screen is actually on 100%. Do you guys want me to zoom in? Okay, let me zoom in. Is this much better? I think this should be better. All right, so let's continue. So we have particles and we have position of absolute. We have width of 4 pixels. We have height of 4 pixels. We have a background of, that's going to be RGBA of 255, 255, 255. That's 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and we have border radius of 50%. And we have animation of float 6 seconds, is in and out infinite. Sorry, is in and out infinite. So that's going to be continuous. So you won't see that on key wireframe. So to make the animation work, you have to add the keyframe at keyframe. So I think if you guys are going to be working with if you guys will actually have animation on your project, I would implore that you guys actually make use of Tailwind CSS. Yeah, you guys should actually make use of Tailwind CSS. So I think in the next class also, I'm actually going to do something along the line of Tailwind CSS so we can actually work with animations and actually see how we can build basically with Tailwind CSS in the next class. So let's just continue float. So you can see how it's going to be much more easier to work with that than you having to, but it's going to be based on your preference. It's going to be based on your own personal preference. So anything your team decide, I won't be the one to decide what you guys are going to use in your project, but as a team, you guys can just decide, okay, this is what we are going to be using, and you guys will stick with it. So if you guys, is we giving you the leverage of having to decide and claim ownership of every project you're going to work on in the project phase? So let me continue. Translate Y of 0 pixel. I have a rotate. I have a rotate of 0 dg, and I have an opacity. I have an opacity of 1, an opacity of 1. So let's go to the next one, which is going to be 50%. Transform, and that's going to be translate Y of minus 20 pixel, rotate 180 degree, and we have opacity of 0.5, 0.5. So this would give us, this would work with the animation in itself. But let's continue. Let's continue. Let's continue. We'd have, so let's now fix our header. So we have header, we have position of fixed, we have top of 0, we have width of 100%, we have padding of, funny thing is, I work for one company that the name of the company is actually bearing padding technologies. Background is going to be RGBA. So most times when I see padding technologies, it means I'm actually remembering one of the companies I have worked for. So 225, 255, 255, 255, 0.1 would have a backdrop filter of blur, 10 pixel, 10 pixel. We have border dash bottom, 1 pixel solid, and it's this same color. I should actually have done, instead of me repeating myself with this color, I should actually have made it a global component, but I didn't. I'm not doing that. I should have just made it like a global component, Control Z. So I don't need to start recalling it over and over again. Just a second, please. I want to reply. So let's continue. Let's continue. Sorry, just a second, please. So border of 1 pixel and this. So we would have z index, and our z index would be of 1000 to put it above everything. And we have a transition of all. We have a transition of all 0.3 seconds, and we have ease. So this is what is going to happen. So we'll now work on our, let's be sure we're actually aligning. So we have not gotten what we wanted yet, but let's keep working on that. So let's now style our nav. That's going to be display flex, justify content space between, and we would have align item center. This funny thing is, this is actually one of my go-to flex component I use almost all the time. So we map suite of 1200 pixel, and we would have a margin of 0 auto. So this alone gives me like a sort of let's say flex to the left and flex to the right. So let's continue. So let's now style our logo itself. So just the text which you're actually going to style. So we have a font size of 1.5 rem. We have a font weight. We have a font weight of 700. We have a background of linear gradient of 45 DEG, 45 degrees, and that's #FF 6B6B. Sorry, FF6B6B, comma, we have #4ECDC4. And we have like a WebKit. I think we are familiar with this WebKit. I'm sure I've done this WebKit in I think in one of the classes that we built something like this. WebKit, not WebKit, WebKit dash background clip text. Background clip of text, and would have a dash WebKit dash text view transparent. We would have a background clip of text. So that should give us this color that we have up here. So let's now style our nav link. So we have .nav dash links. That's display. We display flex. We have a gap of 2 rem. We have a lit style of none. So that gives us this. So yeah, it's coming together how we want it. So let's now style the A tag in itself. .nav links. A, that's going to be color of white. We have a text dash decoration of none. That's for the underline. We have a font weight of 500. first width of 500, iris family, font width of 500, we have a transition of 0.3 seconds and ease. So we have a position of relative. So let's continue. We have like nav dash links. That's A after. So we have contents. Contents, we have position, absolute. We have bottom, -5 pixel. We have a left of 0. We have width of 0. We have height of 2 pixel. We have background. We just use background instead of background color. Background of linear, gradient of 45 DEG, comma hash. So let me just copy. This is also what I need. So let me just copy this from here. So I don't have a minute I'm going to use in writing this. We can save that. So, so that's complete. So we have a transition of width 0.3 sec and ease. So width, we are not seeing it yet. So let's continue. What is our background white? We give a header of this background. So why is it not showing? We give a header this. Let me give this block incoming. Let me comment this out. Okay. Coming. So white. So I'm coming. Trying to figure out something why background color. I see. Yeah, that was where I was having the issue because I know that it could have the button should be this. So I figured that out. So let's continue. So let me do this back to white. So we can continue. So where did we stop? We stopped at nav link right here. So the over effect, let's now start the over effect. Dot now, instead of me, dot now links a over after. That's a width. That's a width of 100%. And yeah, we are done with that. That's just like an over effect on it. So just an over effect right there. So you can see once you over on nav, it shows this. So yeah, we're done with our navigation basically. Let me see if this is responsive. It's not responsive yet, but when I'm not sure, but we could get to responsiveness. I just want us to finish this and also look into the JavaScript today. So let's now start the hero section. Hero, we have height. height of 100 VH. We have a display, a flex, align item, center, item center, justify content, center, text align, center, position, relative, z index of 2. So yeah, this is simply what we have. So let's now style our hero content. So let's have this hero content dash content. So we have 800 pixel. We have padding of 0.02 rem, 0 rem and 2 rem. That's top and bottom 0, left and right 2. We have animation. So we animate it, animation of fade in of 1 second is dash out. So let's refresh. So let's continue. Let's now add a keyframe. A keyframes of feed in up. That's going to be from opacity of 0%, 0 to transform, translate y of 50 pixel to opacity of 1, and transform, translate y of 0. So here we are done. So that's the simple animation we have right there. It flows in and out. So let's now start our hero session. So I'm basically doing most of this is just most of what we are doing today is just containing animation here and there. So I'm going to use a lot of keyframe, which is how we work with animation basically. Excuse me, I have to take, my throat is kind of dry. So let me take water, please. Yeah, so thank you for that short break. So we have hero each one. We have a font size of clamp, 3 rem, 8 view width, 6 rem. Sorry, please, in case you have any question, you can always stop by, ask me, and I would respond. That's going to be 900, font width of 900. We have a margin bottom of 1 rem. We have a background of linear gradients, of 45 dg, comma, hash ff 6b, comma, hash 4e cd c4, and we have hash 45 p7 d1, and we also have hash 96 ce b4. So let's see. Yeah, we have that. So, but that's not what we want. We want to make it clip, same way we did previously. Let me just copy what we have right here. Same way we had for the logo. So I'm just going to copy this and just bring it back here. So that's what we want. So I'm just going to give it a background size and animation, animation of gradient shift. So most of these animations, you will just have to check them out. Like there's an animation, I'm coming, let me remember. There's like a CSS animation playbook, which you can always check out, which is CSS animation playbook. So it gives you like different kinds of animation that you can, yeah, this is it, CSS animations. So all these different kinds of CSS animations that we have. So with this, you can actually create this kind of animation. So we just go to MDN and search for CSS animations, and you have any kind of animation that you want, basically. So with this, we have this. This was actually coded with HTML and CSS. So they are, but with the use of framework at this point, you don't need to actually start writing all your you don't need to start writing your animations. You can always make use of frameworks. And there is I can't remember the animation, so I've not done animation in most of the projects I work on because they are actually projects which are not, let us say, they are actually projects, but they are not animation intensive, just bouncing, bounce out, scrolling, scroll out. So those are most of the animations I do because the product I'm actually building is a B2B product. And let me just chip this in. In the digital space, there are different kind of products. There's the B2B, there's the B2C, and there's the SaaS products. So software as a service. So B2B is business to business, and B2C is business to consumers. So your WhatsApp, your OP, they are a B2C product, and B2B are products that only business to business can use it. Such as, let me say, if you have heard of Zoho, Zoho is more like a B2B workspace tool. So that's that. Let me just chip that in. So most of the products I work on are basically B2B, and B2B products are not really heavy on animation, sort of. So, but you would see animation, probably you're working in a company that has like a B2C product. They will actually want to build products with heavy animation. So that's it. So let's just continue. Grand shift, and I have 4 seconds, and I have ease in out, and I have infinite. So let's now style that. We have at keyframe, we have grand shift, gradient shift of 0%, 100%. Sorry, I need to have a comma right here. 0%, I have a background position. Background position of 0% and 50%. So we have 50% background position of 150%. So that's about that. So let's continue. So we're styling our hero session. So that's hero P, which is this. That's going to be font size of 1.2 rem. We have margin bottom of 2 rem. We have an opacity of 0.9. So yeah, that's what we have, and we are done with that. So now we are also now going to style our CTA button, our CTA. So that's our button, this Explore Magic button. So CTA dash button. So we have display inline block. We have padding of 1 rem, 2 rem. We have background color. We have a background of linear gradient. So I'm just going to copy this since so Control C, Control V. Why do I always skip out the L? So I'm just going to remove this two colors. I'm just going to remove this color and this. So, but I'm not done yet. I'm going to have text, a color of white. I'm also going to have a text decoration of none. I'm also going to have a background, a border radius of 50 pixel. I'm also going to have font width of 600. I'm going to have transition of all 0.3 seconds and ease. So we'd have a box shadow of 0, 10 pixel, 30 pixel, and we have a RGBA of 0.3. So this gives us a shadow behind it. And yeah, with this, we are actually done with our hero section. And yes, it was quite a lot, but we are done with it. So does anyone have any question? So far, based on what we have done, is there any question or should I continue?
Well, please, I have a question, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, you made mention of frameworks for animation. Yeah, I'm trying to understand. When you mean framework, are you making reference to the regular CSS styling frameworks like Tailwind and Bootstrap, or there are tools that we need to install in Visual Studio Code to use them without actually writing the traditional CSS?
Okay, for CSS frameworks, when I mentioned CSS framework, this thing is also part of it. Tailwind also has like an animation sort of that works for animation, but there are also kind of animations that there are some kind of crazy sort of animation. You see some, I can't remember an animation off my head at this point, and I know I used one some couple of months back. I can't remember the name, but that's when you're working with React. Basically, when you're working with framework, let me just say JavaScript framework, React or Next.js, that's when you would not want to start building custom CSS animations. So you have to now heavily depend on frameworks. I'm coming. Let me just search for it because I don't know why the name is not coming up. Animation frameworks. Animation framework. So this frame, yeah, that's one is Framer Motion. So when you're working with um There is one that is, I just mentioned one now, Framer Motion. You can just check out Framer Motion. That's the one that just popped to my head. But there is one I recently learned. I can't even remember the name. I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name. The animations, they are very, very sleek, and I can't remember the name at this point. I don't know why I can't remember the name. And I just actually just picked it up because the animations on that framework was actually good. So, but I hope I remember the name before the end of the class. And so one of the animations you can just check out is Framer Motion. So once you check out Framer Motion, once you check out Framer Motion, you can always do any kind of animation basically. So that's it. So, but you can still, for your level, you don't need to start looking for frameworks or the likes, because if you get into a team, you would basically do what? You basically have like a kind of senior person who would be more engaged with all those kind of crazy sort of animation, sort of. But minor animations such as bouncing, bounce out, a simple scroll effect, you would basically just do that with normal Tailwind or your vanilla CSS. So yeah, that. But once I remember the particular name of the animation, I would let you know. So Joshua, your hand is raised. Joshua, your hand is raised. Or it's not Joshua. Who is bearing PC? I know from the last class, Joshua told me he was the one bearing PC. That is here to rename himself.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Joshua.
It's not Joshua, it's Godfrey.
Godwin, okay.
I don't even know my name is, I'm not even aware. There's not the way you write as after. Like I wanted to ask you, I really don't understand that code.
That is an animation. So you can see that when you over on this, after it, what does it happen? It's more like using, if you can remember from the previous class, I used something called a before and after pseudo class.
I remember.
Yeah, it's that's the same thing I'm basically doing. So it's the after class. I am actually like, okay, once you have overed on it, what is the next thing that is going to, so after it should be a background color. So you can see once it's on it, and the over effect after it is it should be the line under it should be, is like me drawing like a line. I'm actually drawing a line underneath it. So I don't want to use like normal border bottom to draw that line. So simply that's how I use the after class. So once you over on it, it draws the line, and once you remove the cursor from it, it goes back. So with the over effect of 100%, it occupies the full width of that element, as you can see. With service also, it occupies the full width with gallery. So that's simply what, but you can actually read up more about it. And I will tell you, since the time I've started writing Tailwind CSS, I don't use the about, the before and after class anymore. But you'd still writing vanilla CSS here and there, you will still actually want to know more about it. So you can always use it. But basically, as time goes by, you all what you just need is to understand the basics of, vanilla CSS before you start and you move into writing frameworks such as Tailwind and Tailwind basically. So there are still other CSS frameworks such as SAS, but Tailwind is still more widely used than any other one. So that's why you hear me say Tailwind almost all the time. But not to worry, once you get used to it, you would see how it's being done. So I don't think I've not used it in, like, except for teaching purposes and practical purposes. I don't use the after sudo and before sudo class. So that's it. So let's continue. We have less than an hour. We have like an hour to the end of this class. So let's see how far we can go and see if we can start the JavaScript. Or if we don't, I'll just finish it up behind the scene and just push the code. So the JavaScript that I'm going to be adding to this project is simply for this effect that you can see right here. And the animations you can see going on behind the scene of this project, that's what I am adding. That's simply why I am adding the that's simply why I'll be making use of JavaScript. So all these animations, this sort of animation actually deals with JavaScript majorly. And everything you can see behind the scene, it's actually working with JavaScript particularly. Yeah, so let's continue. So the next, we will be styling the over effect. We'll be styling our CTA over effect, CTA dash button. So that's going to be the over effect. We had over. And we would have transform, translate, transform, translate y, and we have -3 pixel. So let's continue. So we have a box shadow. We have a box shadow. Sorry guys, just a second, please. Yeah, so sorry about that. So we have 0, we have 50 pixel, we have 40 pixel. So we have RGBA 0, 0, 0, and we have 0.4. So that's for the over effect that we have on this. So we have the section, and we have padding 5 to rem, max width of 1200 pixel, margin of 0 auto. So we have Z index. So that's for this. So let's now start the title. The section that title. You have font that size. You have 3 rem. We have text align center, margin bottom of 3 rem. You have a background So I just that's simply what you're doing. And this is actually like a bad practice, basically. I've actually told you guys this is actually a bad practice for me duplicating code. I'm just supposed to create it somewhere. I'm supposed to just create the style somewhere and we can just reuse it over and over again. But I'm just being lazy. So you guys pardon my laziness. It's not supposed to be. So let's see. So we have fixed that already. So let's continue. We have, where is the feature grid? So we are going to be styling. So we have styled that. So let's continue. So that's feature grid. So we are going to be styling our featured grid. There's grid and I'm so sorry. I didn't know my mic was off. I'm so sorry. I thought I've been speaking on this one. I thought, thank you very much for bringing that to my notice, Godswill. So thank you very much, Godswill, for that. So let's start. Feature card. So we'll be starting the featured card. So we have background color, background of RGBA, and I'm just going to use this. So backdrop filter, blur, 10 pixel, border, one pixel, solid. We have RGBA of this. This is going to be 2. So we have a border radius of 20 pixel. So we have a padding of 2 rem. We have text align center. We have a transition of 0.3 seconds is, and you have a cursor pointer. So you can see we have that. So let's now add an over effect to it. So we would have an over effect on the card. So we have over. So we have transform of that's 10 pixel, and scale of 1.02. We have background of RGBA, GBA, and we have 0.15. So box shadow of 0.20 pixel, 40 pixel, and RGBA. So yeah. So let's check what we have. So, and we are also going to start what we have inside. So I think, so yeah, that's what we have. So let's now style the icon in itself. Sorry guys, give me a few seconds. Yeah, so I'm going to style the featured icon, feature icon dash icon. So I have width of 80 pixel. We would have the height of 80 pixel, margin 0 auto 1 rem. So let me just copy this, and paste this back here. So border radius, we have 50%. So display, flex, we have align item, we have center, justify content, center, and we have font size of 2 rem. We have animation, sorry. Animation, that's pause of 2 seconds, ease in, out, infinite. So we are going to add our keyframe. So we have add keyframe, we have pause, so we have 0%, 100%. We have transform, scale of 1. So we have 50%. transform. We have scale of 1.1. So let's save this and see. This is the animation that we have. And yes, looks exactly like what we want. And yeah. Excuse me, please. Yeah, so let's continue. So I think we are done with this session. We are done with this session. So let's go to this session right here. So we have the gallery, which is going to be display grid. So we have grid, template column, we have repeat. So I'm actually just using the same style I used for the previous feature session. So I'm going to have auto dash fit, min max, 250 pixel, comma 1 FR. So we just have a gap of 1 rem, margin top, 3. So we have that already. So let's now style the items in itself. So we have the dot gallery item, gallery dash item, and we have height, 200 pixel. We have a border radius, a dash radius of 15 pixel. We have a background of linear gradient. So we have 45-degree. So we have an RGBA, sorry, not here. So we have RGBA of 255, 107, 107 of 0.8 RGBA. That's going to be 78, 205. So 5, 196, 0.8. We have RGBA of 69, 183, 209, 0.8. We have RGBA 150, 206, 108, 0.8. So we have, okay. So we have RGBA. So I think we are good to go right here. So this is what we have. So something is wrong. I'm going to figure that out. Gradient, so um sorry, this was where I missed it. Yeah, so let's continue. So we have an animation of gradient shifts. If of 6 seconds is in infinite. So we have display of flex. We have align item center. We have justify content center. We have font size of 1.2 rem, and we have a font weight of 600. We have cursor. We have cursor of pointer. Transition or 0.3 seconds is. We have border of 2 pixels, solid, RGBA. So this is it. So we are done with that. So we now have the over effect. We have the over effect. So let's add the over effect to this. So let's add the over effect. So we have gallery item that's over. So we have transform, scale 1.05, and we have rotate of 2 degree. So we have box the shadow. Box shadow of 0, 15 pixel, 30 pixel, RGBA, this, and yeah, so this what we have, and let's see, and yeah, so we are not done yet, but we are getting there. So this is what we have. So let's finish up the form session, this form session and the footer session, and we'll call it a day. So we have like a contact dash form. We have max width of 600 pixel. We have margin. We have 3 rem. Auto 0. Sorry. So we'll start with the form, which is yeah, I stopped at the background color. Background, and we have RGBA, and we have this backdrop, filter, blur, 10 pixel, border, 1 pixel, RGBA, So we have border radius, border radius, 20 pixel, and padding to rem. So let's continue. So we have dot form dash margin bottom 1.5 rem. So we have dot form dash group label. We have display. Block margin. We have 0.5 rem. We have font dash width, which is 500. And yeah, so let's save that and see what we have. So let's continue. So let's now style this. I'm going to do some group styling, which is dot form group, which is the input field. I'm going to be doing this as dot form group as the text area. This the message. This is the text area basically. So let's continue. So we have a width of 100%. We have a padding of 1 rem. We have a border of none. We have a border radius of 10 pixel. We have a background. Of RGBA of 2202 0.2. We have a color of white. We have a font size of 1 rem. And we have a transition. Of all 0.3 seconds. And we have ease. And yeah, that's what we have, which is for this. So let's continue. So we have dot form group input placeholder. So we have dot form group input place, that's text area, sorry. Text area placeholder is going to be outline of none, background of RGBA is 03 coming. And then change this to 3. And we'll have box shadow of 0020 pixel. And we have RGBA of 02. Okay, I was shocked for a bit. So, and yeah, we have that already. So let's now start our submit button. Let's now start the submit button. So we have that submit .btn. We have width 100%. We have padding 1 rem. We have background of linear gradients. So same linear gradients that we have. So let me come back up here, copy this. So let's continue. We have a color of white. Excuse me. We have border of none. We have border radius of 10 pixel. We have font size 1.1 rem. We have font width of 600. We have cursor. We have cursor pointer. And we have transition or 0.3 seconds ease. And yeah, I think this is what we have. And let's see. And yep, I think we are good. So let's now have an over effect. The submit button that's over that's going to be translate -2 pixel, which is going to be box shadow, 10 pixel, 20 pixel of RGBA. This, so let's save and see. So yeah, so the next thing we'll target now is our footer. So let's style our footer. So we have footer, that's text align center. Text align center. We have padding of 3 rem, 2 rem. We have background and background of RGBA. This, the margin top, 5 rem. We have position, relative, Z index, 2. Yeah, so let's start our social links. So we have the social dash links. Social links as display, flex, the spy content center, cap 1 rem, margin top 1 rem. Okay, so this, so we have the social dash link. That's going to be width 50 pixel, height 50 pixel, background RGBA. Yes. So we have border radius of 50%. We have display, flex. We have align item center. We have just spy content center. We have text decoration, none. We have color, white. We have transition, or 0.3 seconds, ease. We have border, 1 pixel, solid, RGBA. Yep. So let's now add an over effect. The social link over. That's going to be background color. So let's pick our regular background color from here. I'm just going to copy all this. Control C. Have our transform and translate. Transform, translate Y is going to be -3 pixel. And yes, we are done with our landing page from top to bottom. So this session is going to be fixed with JavaScript. So we would fix that completely in the next class. I will also go into JavaScript in the next class. Yeah, so this is how far we can take into this class. Do we have any question, or you want me to explain something better? Is there any correction, question from your tasks? Yeah, actually, I'm going to talk about that when I stop recording. So if there is no question, we're going to stop it here today and see you in the next class.